Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second Facebook takeover with the wonderful Nicole and Nick from Smergos. If you don't know about Smergos, it's a startup company which is owned by Nicole and Nick, who are joining us. And they are two passionate individuals who are dedicated to creating a range of wheelchair bags and other accessories that provide much needed functionality through a choice of simple, personalized designs. Both of them have first-hand experience of living with a disability, and thus they really have an understanding of what people with special needs require and the best way to fulfill these requirements. So yeah, welcome Nick and Nicole. It's lovely to have you here.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
Megan.
So tell me a little bit more about how Smergos got started and what you guys actually produce, who it's targeted at, because I know that it's a lot more than just wheelchair bags now. There's a lot more to it.
Nicole, do you want me to take the origin story?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So a long, long time ago. Okay, no, not that long ago. It was back in 2012, and what I'm about to tell you is a true story. It was back in 2012 when I was racking my brain on a birthday present to get for Nicole. And for about 2 or 3 weeks, I was racking my brain and I couldn't figure it out. And then 7:30 on a Saturday morning, I shot up out of bed knowing what it was. I don't know if you've had that experience, but this is what happened to me. I shot up out of bed and I knew I had to get her a wheelchair bag, something that could hold all of her belongings, but at the same time, something that could portray some of her personality. So obviously, living in the age that we do now, I hopped onto Google and I tried to find what I was looking for. And to my dismay, I could not. I found 1 or 2 products locally, but they really weren't what I was looking for and they weren't very good quality. And then I did find some overseas, but with an overseas price tag to match. So it was in the thousands, and I like Nicole as a good friend, and now even more so as a business partner. But, you know, I can't spend thousands on her. What would my fiance say? So I decided to think a little bit broader, and maybe someone, the average person would probably go, I can't find what I'm looking for, oh well. But I've got an entrepreneurial mindset because I run another small company, and I'm always looking for opportunities. So instead of going, oh well, I said, oh well, there's an opportunity here. So I quickly contacted Nicole, and because I'm a man of mystery, I said, I have an idea that I want to share with you, and it might change quite a few people's lives. Be at my house at 3 p.m. and I'll tell you more. And then I hung up the phone. Luckily, she did come to my house at 3 p.m. that day, and Smergos was born.
That's amazing. And you guys are honestly so inspiring. I know, Nicole, you have a rare condition yourself. So I don't know if you want to tell a little bit of your story and maybe why you are in a wheelchair and why these products mean so much to you as a rare disease warrior.
Sure. So I was born with osteogenesis imperfecta, or otherwise known as brittle bone disease. And for anyone here that's not aware of that, it's basically my body produces some levels of collagen, but not enough. And collagen is what binds our bones together. So without it, my bones are more fragile than the average person's. So it's safe to say that I didn't have a conventional upbringing. I spent most of my time either in hospital or at home recovering from fractures and breaks. It could take the simplest thing that could cause me to fracture, like a door slamming and me jumping from fright, and I would fracture my arm. But the good thing is that when you reach puberty, your body naturally starts to produce more collagen. So I'm a lot stronger now than I was back then. So it's been quite a number of years since my last break. and yeah, there isn't really any known cure for osteogenesis currently. I know that like stem cell therapy is looking promising, perhaps some genetic therapy, but nothing that's been pinpointed down just yet. And then in terms of, the Smergos products, I mean, they really mean a lot to me because, as Nick mentioned, it was often difficult for me to carry my belongings and push myself in my chair at the same time because I'm permanently wheelchair bound. And, I think it's really given me a really safe and secure way to carry my belongings in these products, in the bags on my wheelchair. And it frees up my hands and it looks stylish. I have a lot of people comment on my products. Yeah, so that's from my side.
So what are some of the different products that you offer now? Because I know you started off with that wheelchair bag. So what are some of the other offerings that you have available on your website?
So instead of going and describing every single product that we have, because we do have quite a few now, I think it would be better to describe the different ranges that we have. So we have tried our best to meet the needs of those using wheelchairs, but we also want to provide products that those who want to support the Smergos brand and those who have disabilities can also buy. And then also we know that people in wheelchairs are, going out there and doing things and living life. And so with all of this combined, we have our Smergos original range, which is the blue color. And that is your everyday products that are suited for, going to the shops or something like that. And then we've got Smergos Red, which is Smergos Sport. And those are sports products specifically designed to fit on a wheelchair to help with, weight training or resistance training and things like that. And then we have Smergos Life, which is the green one. Now, Smergos Life, ladies and gentlemen, that is a Smergos Life product. That is a product that is designed for a person without a disability to use who wants to support the Smergos brand. So basically, we can kit your whole family out with awesome Smergos products and, you can look good while, being functional. And then within that range, it's okay. Within that range, we have a whole bunch of different things. Some are, more functional than others, like you mentioned, like bags and stuff. But then we are looking at also personality-driven products like the chair tee, for example, a t-shirt that fits onto your chair. And we've got some ideas for that as well.
That's amazing. Absolutely. Like, I love your products. And so that I was showing is their Smergos laptop bag. Oh, of course, now there we go. And it's padded on the inside. And I get so many compliments whenever people see me with it because it's bright and it's beautiful and all of them are unique. So your fabrics sort of run as they go. So you might be able to get that pattern now, but you won't be able to get it again in the future. So if you see one you must just go and get it like now. Nicole, you were going to say something earlier when Nick was speaking.
Yeah, I was going to say, and then also last year what we released was the raincoat poncho, which is specifically designed for people that are wheelchair bound. Because, I'm sure anyone here that's listening will know that, it's not practical to try and, hold an umbrella and push yourself in the wheelchair at the same time. And also raincoats are not really practical because the way that they're designed, all the water will just puddle on your lap anyway. So we really took that into account and we did a number of prototypes where I was the guinea pig. And we tried a lot of different fabrics and styles, and we ended up coming up with a design where, it covers you and partially the wheelchair. And the fabric also runs at a slight, angle where that the water would just run off if you happen to be stuck in the rain, So that was something that we've also released.
That is amazing. And it's things that someone like an able-bodied person might not necessarily think about, but when you said it, it makes so much sense. Like,
Yeah.
you guys are reaching people that don't necessarily get thought about in the greater scheme of things, like a wheelchair bag. I know because I've spent time with you and I see how vibrant and you can do everything for yourself. Like, you don't need us to help you push your wheelchair or do whatever. In fact, she doesn't like you pushing her wheelchair. I'm just letting you know. But I mean, a bag, it just makes sense for you to be able to carry your things so that you can move easily and not have to rely on other people pushing you around or moving you or doing whatever. It just gives you that freedom.
Absolutely. I think that's something that's really important for Smergos, is to push that empowerment, to push that having an independent lifestyle, being confident and comfortable in your way to move through the world. And, you know, I also wanted to add that I know that at the moment, a lot of our products are wheelchair focused, but that is something that we want to change in the long term because, you know, Nick needs products too.
So, Nick, do you want to tell a little bit of your story? Because you also amazing and vibrant and don't want our help with stuff. But at the same time, there are products that will obviously assist you more and be relevant to you. So will you tell us a little bit more about your story?
Sure. So I wasn't born with my disability. I was injured in a car accident when I was 6 months old. And as a result of severe brain damage, I have cerebral palsy with hemiplegia. So for those of you who don't know what that is, cerebral palsy means brain damage or brain paralyzed, and then hemiplegia is half paralyzed. This means that this side of my brain was damaged, so it's affected my left-hand side of my body. So I walk with a 50-cent limp because I'm cool like that. And then I can move my arm and my legs, but I can't move my fingers, toes, wrist, and things like that. So I talk about gross motor movement. I can do big movements, but I can't do fine motor movements. Unfortunately, that's not something I can do. So that's where, you know, certain products that would help me would come into play. And also, obviously, we want to diversify not only to products for, you know, Nicole and myself, but to every different type of disability.
And you guys, what I love about both of you is just your positivity and your zest for life. I mean, you don't sit back and go, oh, woe is me, like things are so tough. You're out there making a difference and you literally, like, you're changing people's lives. What advice would you give to patients who might be in a wheelchair or have experienced some kind of trauma that's impacted their lives and the way that they can move? What sort of advice would you give to them or words of encouragement?
You want me to go first, Nick? Okay. Okay. You know, just talking about my my personal story. As you know, I was born with my disability. So I've never known anything different. And I guess in some ways you could say that that has pros and cons compared to other people's circumstances. But I think for me, at least when I was younger, I did go through the stage of the woe is me, you know, this is not fair, I don't deserve this. And I think for me, it was really first coming to with acceptance, you know, just accepting that this is my situation. And, you know, no wishing is unfortunately going to change it. So it was coming to that realization and then saying, I accept me for who I am, and I'm going to go forward in life, you know, to the best of my abilities. So yes, there will be certain things that I will never be able to do and experiences that I will never be able to have, but that doesn't mean that I can't live a happy and meaningful life. You know, you've just got to adapt almost, and you've got to, you know, just do what you can, kind of thing. And it doesn't mean that I still don't have down days. Of course you do, and there can be certain things that will trigger it off. But again, give yourself that time to go through that, but then pick yourself up and go, you know, I'm now going to continue. I'm not going to let it stop me. So that would be how my personal experience has been. But I'll hand over to Nick now.
Can I just interrupt and say, I completely agree with allowing yourself to have those fraught days. Like, don't think you have to be positive the whole time, or you have to pretend like life is perfect and you're coping with everything. It's okay to have it all fall down, climb under your duvet and sob.
100%.
As long as, like you say, you pick yourself back up again and you're like, okay, I can do this.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
It's all good. From my side, I think a large portion of it is mindset. And I actually, I'm in the public speaking or professional speaking realm, and that's my topic of, that I normally present on is mindset. And there are a whole bunch of things that go into it. So, for example, growth mindset versus fixed mindset. For those of you who don't know, growth mindset is having the ability to identify something that you're not good at, but saying, I'm not good at it now, but with time, effort, and practice, I will be able to, achieve it or do it or whatever. Whereas on the flip side, a fixed mindset is saying, I can't do something, and that's it. It's over. I can't do it. So obviously, with me being the person I am, I'm highly motivated and driven, and that's because of the growth mindset that drives me. If I want to do something, I accept that it won't get done in the right way or as easily as someone else might do it. But in the end, I'm going to do it myself anyway. It just takes me a lot longer. Or as Nicole was saying, some problem solving skills have to come into play. For example, I have been doing salsa dancing. Unfortunately, I haven't done much this year. But when I first started salsa dancing, my family and some of my friends were like, what the hell are you doing? You've got one hand, you've got a limp. How can you salsa dance? And I love it so much. And I've been dancing now for 15 years. And I've even done, I've given lessons. I've been to Cuba and danced in Cuba. I've taught, I think the youngest person I've taught is a 13-year-old, and the oldest person I've taught is, I think, 76 years old, how to dance salsa. And you see, that's just who I am. I look at something and I say, okay, that's the start and that's the end. How do I get there? Like, what journey do I need to come up with? What plans do I need to make to get it done? And also, thinking outside the box, not accepting that you can't do something in one way doesn't mean that you can't do it. Think about it and say, okay, if I can't do it like that, is there another way I can do it? I gave a talk last year at a design thinking conference, and I challenged the people. I said, how do you open a bottle of Coke? And they said, you screw the top open. And I said, cool, I can open a bottle of Coke in 6 different ways. And I challenged them to figure it out. And they eventually did. But that's just an example of thinking outside the box. If you can't do it one way, it doesn't mean it can't be done.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Yeah, Flip. And I think you need to give us all salsa lessons. Maybe that's our next Facebook takeover. We can do a little salsa lesson here. And Nicole, you can join in too. Hey, how good are you at your dancing?
I'm happy to try.
So we got a question from our Facebook Live, and it says, where does the name Smergos come from?
Okay, so the name Smergos actually comes from a combination of our names. So there's Nick Smith and Nicole Burgos, and we put the 2 together and you get Smergos.
I love it.
We wrapped our brains for a long time when we initially had this idea to start the company. We couldn't think of something, and we didn't want to label it, something like the wheelchair bag company, because I think we always knew that we had a bigger picture than that, and there was so much more that we wanted to do. So we wanted to go with a very unique name that we could, we could put a lot of things under that. And it's a really cool, strong sounding name that we like as well.
Especially if you say it with a Russian accent. You say, I work at Smergos. It's very strong.
You guys can tell why we all love Nick, right? So the next question from Candace says, Nick, how do you manage to work on a computer? A friend of mine is looking for solutions to finish her studies without the use of her hands.
I must just quickly clarify, I do have use of my right hand, yes. Thankfully. I don't have use of my left. So I do use the mouse a lot, and I have got a little bit better at typing, but I do actually use quite a lot of voice commands. So that's something that has come a long way recently. And I was actually doing some research just the other day on how to voice type and the best platform for that. And there are a whole bunch out there. Dragon is a really good one. And then there are 2 or 3 others that are really good. I think another one is called Otter. And then there are a few free ones as well. One that I like and prefer it, I'm sorry to say, but to Microsoft. I don't really like the Microsoft one. It makes a lot of errors. But Google's based one is actually quite accurate. And I think it's more dynamic in that it learns more about how you say things, and it adapts to your speech patterns and stuff a lot better. So if I have a lot of minutes to type, I normally I normally voice type them using Google, and then after that I read through them and make manual changes by typing. But that's how I do it.
Awesome. I've used Otter before when people are trying to give me a whole lot of instructions and there's no way I can keep up with what they're trying to say. So Otter definitely helps, but it also it comes with its funny little errors. So you do just find sort of what works for you. So I know you guys have some exciting things happening with Smergos as well. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about those?
Sure. So at the moment, we are busy working on some collaborative projects that are really exciting. So the one is we are working with a guy who has brought adaptive CrossFit to South Africa.
Wow! Oh my goodness!
So we are working with him to make some, training equipment that he can use with his clients and. Things like that. So that's very, very cool. And I mean, as Nick mentioned, we have got the Smergos Sport range, and I think this will really help us to take that range to the next level. So that's the one project that we're working on. And then we're also working with Bernadette from Fability. And we're creating this really beautiful, slick laptop bag that we're going to be released, that was inspired by Fability and her brand. Fability is all about showing the more fun and creative side of people with disabilities, and showing how, like just what we were talking about, how they can live just as fulfilling and interesting lives as, anybody else. Doesn't make us any, different in that way. So, yeah, and then Nick, I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to add?
Of course. Of course, we don't just sit back and relax. No, we don't do that, especially during lockdown. Who relaxes during lockdown? During lockdown, obviously, everything closed in terms of our manufacturing and possible, deliveries and things like that. So we took the opportunity and said, how are we going to service or connect with our community? And how or what can we do during this difficult time to help our community? Because in our own personal lives, we felt isolated. And it's a known fact that a person without a disability was isolated, but then a person with a disability can be even more so. You know, a person without a disability has the freedom to maybe, you know, more easily go to the shops, or not even a question of ease, but also a question of safety. You know, they're at a lower risk, so they have more flexibility in terms of movements. However, people with disabilities don't have such, you know, freedom. And so we were thinking, okay, how do we connect with these people? How do we service? How do we help them? How do we support them? And so we started doing weekly Zoom calls. And they started off as just a basic idea of come and chat. You know, whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about. And the first few went by and one or two people joined. But we slowly started developing it and pushing the boundaries a bit, as again we do. And what we started doing is making weekly themes. So we started saying that, okay, you know, the call is going to happen every Friday, of course, but it's now not just come and chat. It's this week we're talking about relationships. Next week we're talking about health and wellness. Next week we're talking about mindset. The next week we're talking about finance. So every week is a different topic. And then from there we also started introducing big speakers, and that's something new. We have some big speakers that are normally on very big stages and are very, let's say, well paid to come and speak. Luckily, those people love Smergos and they've agreed to do it for free. And so we've got 2 big speakers coming up. And then, you know, right at the beginning, we had the whole, you know, you can just come and chat. But that lost steam. People got disinterested quite quickly because they didn't know what, you know, to expect. But now we haven't come full circle, but we've had to sort of bring that back, because what we found is during the theme-based sessions, people wanted to talk about the theme more. You know, the presenter would speak, and then we would have about 20 minutes to half an hour to speak about it afterwards. But some people wanted to speak about that even more. So what did we then introduced is First Friday Fun. Now, First Fridays is an event that happens in exactly the same time slot for exactly the same, you know, reason. However, it's not a pre-planned speaking session. So we don't have a speaker that comes. It's an opportunity for us to share with our community. They come on and we do pre-plan a few things, you know, like this could be a cool topic, or we noticed that in the past month, that was a hot topic on one of the days. So we have that in the back of our mind. And then we run the session and we just take it and see how it goes.
That is amazing. And can anyone join in, and how do they join? How do they find these events?
Absolutely. We encourage anyone and everyone to join. Bring your family, bring your friends, bring your pets. It's really open. And the way that we promote it via our Facebook and Instagram pages. So if you went on there, you could find the event. It's also done via a Zoom link. So all the details are there. You just click on the link at 6 o'clock on a Friday, and we'll be there.
That's amazing. I absolutely love what you guys are doing, and that you've incorporated the whole mental toll that lockdown has taken on so many of us. I think a lot of us, it's only really hitting us now how hard and emotional lockdown has been on us. And mentally draining and emotionally just like knocking us, because we've never experienced something like this, and we don't know what to expect. We don't know what to plan for. So we're just kind of in this limbo of, is life going to go back to normal, or are we going to have to stay at home on our own for another month? Like it is difficult. So So yeah, I really, really love what you're doing. And I think that hopefully lots of us will be joining you again. I just see we've got another question that's saying maybe you should consider a Zoom salsa lesson. So Nick, it's going to be happening. Do you see this? Like, you're in demand.
Totally.
Another thing that I just thought of, I know that both of you still drive and are very capable of doing things like that, but obviously your cars have been specialized, I don't know the right word.
Modified.
Thank you. Modified for both of you. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Just, I think, to give inspiration to people who maybe don't know about it, just to let people know about these different cars that are available and that you can make it work.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point to raise. Just because, talking from my personal experience, I know that I struggle to find that information, and there is a lot of uncertainty, and people aren't really sure where to go. Can the actual car manufacturers help you? Do you need to go to an external company? So yeah, I think that's a really good thing to raise. So from my side, I drive an automatic. I got my license with an automatic vehicle. And then in terms of the taking the lessons, I did find a driving instructor that had a modified vehicle.
Wow.
So they do exist. And she would come and pick me up a couple of times a week from my company. And I would do my driving lesson in my lunch hour. And that's how I learned to drive. And just to tell everyone, I actually did this on the sly because my family was very anti me driving because they were just frightened for my safety, you know. So it was only after I actually got my license that then I went home and went, look what I got.
Such a rebel, hey? Such a rebel. And now your car, I know because I've seen it, is amazing. Like it's you with your wheelchair. Can you explain how all of that?
Yeah. So I know that you know, some people that are wheelchair bound, you know, sometimes what they do is they will you know, pull the wheelchair onto the passenger seat, the front passenger seat, and that's how they keep it. Unfortunately, with me, I'm just not strong enough. I have very weak arms, so I'm not able to do that. So I did some research online, and I was able to find this really nifty machine where they basically put a roof rack on the roof of my car, and it's got this little machine where basically I can hook my wheelchair in, and then I push a little button on the inside of the car, and it takes my wheelchair onto the roof. And it keeps it there, and then when I'm ready to go down, then I push the same button, and then it brings it down, and I just unhook it, and then that's how I get in. Just from my personal experience, I struggled with the hand modifications, and my driving instructor used to laugh at me because she would see my feet moving as I was trying to drive, because with osteogenesis, I still have feeling in my legs. It's just that I can't put a lot of pressure on them. And then she eventually said to me, well, if you can use your legs, then use them. So I don't have the hand modifications, but I do have pedal extensions because my legs are a little bit short, which again, I found an external company that was able to fit them, and they can fit really on any vehicle. And they're just about 10 centimeters off the normal pedal. So anyone could still drive my car. You just flip them up. And that's how I get around.
That's amazing. Oh, I remember the first time I saw you just like wheeling yourself into your car, off you go. Like, no worries in the world. And there goes Nicole off in her little...
It was really a life-changing situation for me. I mean, Nick will remember because when I first started driving, I didn't find that contraption immediately. So, you know, it became a lot more complicated where, you know, I would need someone to help me put the wheelchair in the car. Then when I arrived at the destination, I'd have to phone Nick and go, okay, I'm outside. And then he would have to come and take the wheelchair out the car. So, you know, it was, so this contraption is just giving me that independence that I can go, which is amazing.
And can people get hold of you through the Smergos page if they want to know a little bit more and maybe know like who you dealt with and
Absolutely.
more details about that? Okay, great. Absolutely. And then Nick, your car also has modifications.
Not as like drastic modifications as Nicole. She's cool like that. I've basically only got 2 modifications on mine, and it doesn't necessarily have to be on every car either. It depends on the make of the car. So the first thing that I have is a little, let's call it an arm that attaches to my indicator. So it moves my indicator from the left to the right. So it puts all the indicators on the right-hand side. And that's, again, like Nicole was saying, it's something that can be removed. If we want to sell the car, whatever, it can be sold as a normal car. It's not a permanent fixture. And then the other thing I have is a handle on my steering wheel. And that is awesome. Because I can't hold the steering wheel with 2 hands and turn around corners and stuff, this handle rotates on its own axis as well. So as you turn the handle and you turn the steering wheel, it can go around the whole corner without you having to go like that. And it looks really cool because you can make pretty big movements with your steering wheel, with small movements on the, in real life. So, you just sit back in your car, in your chair, and you're like, yeah. It looks pretty cool. I think so. And then obviously I drive an auto as well. I don't have as much control on my left foot as on my right. So I don't have like clutch or anything like that. So auto is the way for me.
Amazing. You guys make me so happy, and I love what you're doing, and I love that you are literally changing the world and making life easier for so many South Africans and beyond. I mean, you've found that market that so many people forget about. And you're just out there to make the world a better place, make it easier, make it more accessible. And I really, really think that you guys are amazing, and I love Smergos. I've always been a huge fan. I feel like I'm a little bit of a fangirl with you two. So yeah, is there anything else that you want to add? Anything else that you want to talk about? Can you also let us know how people can get hold of you if they want to purchase anything or ask you any questions?
Yeah, sure. From my side, I just wanted to say, thank you very much. Rare Diseases has also shown us a lot of love and support over the years, and we are just as big fan of you as you are as us. And I'm really proud to be one of your Rare Diseases ambassadors. And I'm happy to help in any way that I can. In terms of getting hold of me, you're welcome to get hold of me on social media. So either through my personal page, which is Nicole Burgos, or through our Smergos page. Otherwise, my email address is nicole@smergos.com. So pretty easy to remember. You can also reach me on there. And yeah, that's it for me.
From my side, I just want to echo what Nicole said, which is thank you very much for setting up this platform. Thank you very much for supporting us. We love our meetings that we have with you. Every time we do, we set aside an hour, and then we end up spending about 2-3 hours chatting and laughing, and it's always been a lot of fun. That's why I can sit here and be so natural. So thank you very much. And then yes, to follow us and things, the easiest would be our website. So that's www.smergos.com. And then if you're looking out for us on Facebook, it's also Smergos. And then on Instagram, it's Smergos1. And then for some reason, some people don't always know how to spell Smergos. So it's Smergos. And yeah, then come and join the family, join the movement. Our slogan is inspiring motion, because that's what we want to do. We want to inspire everybody to move in the right direction. People with disabilities, people without disabilities, society as a whole. So come and join the movement, and join us this Friday for that first Friday fun session, guys. It's going to be awesome.
I'll definitely join you. I've been wanting to for ages, and I'm terrible. But now you've got me all excited and amped about it.
Awesome.
I just want to also add that Rare Bears are on the Smergos website. So they've really done a lot with helping the Rare Bear Project, which is our community upliftment program, where ladies in the township crochet the most gorgeous toys. So those are also available. So while you buy your Smergos beautiful bags and goodies, you can just add to cart a little Rare Bear. And you guys, thank you so, so much. I'll put all of the contact details across our social media platforms and your website and all those different things. But thank you for taking the time out tonight to come and chat to all of us and get us all excited about inspiring motion. And Nikki, are you still there? So this is what confuses me with these three. It's Nicole, Nick, and Nikki. So Nikki is Nick's fiance. So yeah. Well, thank you very much, Nicole, Nick, and Nikki, for being part of this. And we loved having you here. And thank you so, so much for being you and for inspiring change. I appreciate all of you.
And when you want to do that Zoom lesson for salsa or anything of that nature, let me know. I'm there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who joined us via Facebook. We haven't got our next participants as yet, but as soon as we do, we'll announce it and put it up the next Facebook event. Have a lovely evening, and thank you so much for joining us.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. It's still recording.